In this GMC tutorial video, I'm going to demonstrate how you can use grouping and ungrouping tools to be able to make it easy to change or manipulate multiple opening shapes or multiple layered mats. So moving shapes or figures grouped together at the same time. So let's start with the very basics. How do we individually select just one opening? Well, if you move your mouse over an opening, such as this one, if you just left click on it, you can see now it is selected. And when something's selected, then you can click and drag and move it, or you can apply different properties to it. So here I can apply a 5mm step if I want to make it a double matte layer or whatever. So being able to select an opening or an object just by simply using click. I want to point out that this only works when you're in template mode. So if you've been working in text mode, draw mode or whatever, you may need to go back to template mode to be able to get this functionality to be able to work, where you can click an object and then click and drag. Okay? What if I want to grab two objects like these two side by side? Well, the next tool that you can use is called click and drag or lasso. So what I'll do with the mouse is I'll position it up here. I'm going to left click on the mouse and hold the left click down as I drag the mouse down here, and then I'm going to let go, and whatever is included within that lasso, that rectangular lasso, has now selected and highlighted, so you can see they're both selected, which now allows me to click and drag and move them accordingly. Or also, if they are selected, I can apply different properties, or I can apply my transform menu functions to them as well. So I can rotate them or whatever as a group. Now if you want to unselect a group, you need to click in somewhere where you're not touching a mat, somewhere like nowhere land. So click here and now they're unselected. Okay, so if you want to select something, it's selected, click. If you want to unselect, don't click on an object, click in nowhere, and then it's unselected. So what if I want to select all the objects on the screen at once? Well, I can do a lasso. So I click, hold down, click, move the mouse, make sure everything's included within the lasso, and then you can see it's all highlighted. Thus, I can move it all together as a group. Now, there is a keyboard shortcut for doing that, and that is Control A. So if I put my finger on the Control and then hit the A button on the keyboard, that will also select all the shapes. Control A, A for all. And then I have the same functionality. Now something about click and drag and lasso that is worth knowing is that if something is not totally included within the lasso, so for example, I'll unclick, I'm going to click and drag and select those two at the top. Can you see at the bottom here, before I let go, there are three objects within the lasso that are partially within the lasso. Anything that is partially or not entirely within the lasso will not be selected. So when I let go, you can see that it didn't select these three here. It only selected any objects that is totally within the lasso. So a good example of this, for example, if I'm trying to select those two objects but I don't quite get it there, it's not going to select those two. It's got to be totally within the lasso. Okay, now what if I want to select objects that don't want in the lassos? For example, if I select all of these four objects, maybe that's not what I want. Maybe I just want to select three of these and not all four. So I click to unselect. Now the next trick I'll show you to do that is called Shift Select. So if I put my finger and hold it down on the Shift key on the keyboard, and then with the mouse I can click on the shapes that I want. And so by doing that, you can see now I've been able to click and select. I can let go of the Shift button now. And I've selected those three shapes, excluding that one. So that helps me to do something that the lasso can't do. So finally, what if we want to permanently group or ungroup some shapes together? So for example, if I want to grab all of these shapes and always keep them grouped, I can go right click, group, and that's like a permanent lock. So now if I unclick, I can select this, move it around, and then come back to this one. You can see, oh wow, look, they're all grouped together. So they're always going to stay in relative together, proportional together, and everything can be affected permanently together. If I want to unlock that group, I need to select the group first and then go right click, ungroup, and that will return to my individual functionality. So I can unclick, click, and now you can see I can select just the individual shapes rather than the whole group shapes. So those tools can be quite helpful for you when you're creating your multiple layout mats or multiple opening mats.